this is a long story to tell, but basically the first literary notice we have of Aramaic New Testament books is that the Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John in Aramaic kept in the Vatican dated to the year 78 AD.
Wow.
Okay. And this is certified by three popes and two chief Vatican librarians. Now,
Okay.
I could do a whole show on what I call the Assemani manuscript, but
Right.
that's the headline. Now, because we haven't recovered the manuscript yet, I'm working on it, but
Wow.
because I can't say if it looked Hebrew or if it looked more Aramaic, because I don't have a physical text, to look at. But what I can do is trace its development to the Aramaic dialect of the Peshitta. And the Aramaic that Yeshua speaks and the Aramaic that is preserved in the Peshitta is almost identical. So there is definitely a dialectical link between the Aramaic that would have been around in the first century and the Aramaic that is standardized in the early 300s.
Oh,
That's a whole other story about how they updated the grammar and then froze it in the grammar of the fourth century. And it still reads as if it's from the fourth century, even today. Uh,
okay.
but that's why I say if we know they did that in the early 300s, uh, that's going to prove that the Peshitta had to have been around a little bit before that. And so now we're on a fairly equal footing with the earliest Greek texts, fragments, and book collections, if that
Okay.
makes sense. I mean, I'm
Yes.
giving a lot of data here,
Yeah.
very, very quickly.
Yeah. So there was a couple things in there. Um, the one thing, Osmani, is that what you said? The Osmani?
Assemani was the name of the chief Vatican librarian who wrote that he saw the Gospels in Aramaic and that it said it was from 78 AD.
78 AD.
Yeah.
Wow. And all four?
Yes.
All four, 78.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that's
What
early, right?
that's extremely early. It would rewrite all of the conventional New Testament textbooks that seminary students look at because a lot of these guys are used to thinking the original language is in Greek and it goes really back to the early second century. They think there's one fragment which basically has one word on it. I don't know how they determine that, but okay. That's dated to about the year 125. Well, now that's been under serious pushback, and that position is now in retreat. That the earliest Greek text that we're sure of is probably from the late second to early third century. So now here you have something from the late first century, not in Greek, but in Aramaic. And then the other thing is that the conventional story is, well, this church had Matthew, the Jerusalem church had Matthew, Ephesus had John because he lived in John, Rome had Mark. Well, and that it would take another 100+ years before someone said, I think I'll just put all four of these into one collection. Or I
Right.
think I'll just put all of Paul's letters into one collection. And now we not only have an Aramaic Matthew, but all four Gospels in Aramaic, not Greek, and dated by the Pope himself to 78 AD because his seal appears on Assemani's publication about the contents of the Vatican. So if the Pope puts his papal seal on a book, it means he completely supports it. He stands by it.
Wow.
And yet today they deny that they have it, even though three of their so-called infallible popes said it's in the collection.
Right. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
That would be very cool to find.
Yes. Well, I've got feelers. I've actually spoken with people who work at the Vatican Library, and I'm trying to move this thing, but it ain't easy.
Okay. Well, hopefully it goes well like that. Yeah, we definitely need that. That'd be very cool. Uh,
Yeah.